Please welcome, master improviser and star of TJ and Dave and my favorite hilarious internet show, Graveyard. Please say hello to Chicago's David Pasquesi.
So I was thinking about what story to tell, and why not tell? I didn't know what story to tell, so I was asking my kids what story to tell, and they suggested this one, which has drug use, organized crime, the Vatican, and the intrigue of a European train ride. You know, you have those friends that you've had for a really long time. Well, I'm old, which is a requirement for long relationships, being at least as old as the length of that relationship. So long, in fact, that things change, like the value of money. $5 used to mean a lot, not just because of inflation, but also because it was a measurable percentage of our net worth. This is a story about one of those friends. We met on an airplane on the way over to travel to study abroad in Rome. And we became roommates over there and were friends and ended up, from then on, working together for the next about 12 years, and we're still friends. So, one of those experiences that we had was this. We went, it was winter break, and we decided to go up to Amsterdam for a few days. Ended up staying at this hotel for several weeks, and I don't know if you've ever been there. Time's funny there, and we didn't have any money. So what we did was we were able to work at the hotel, so we didn't have to pay to sleep on the floor. If we were to sleep in a bed, we would have had to have paid. So we sleep on the floor. So in order to make sure that we had a place on the floor, we'd get people really high on their own hashish, and then they'd pass out on the floor, and we'd pick them up and we'd place them in a bed, and then we could sleep on the floor for free. So it was pretty creative. So we have no money up there, and we're just working to not have to pay anything. And then we have to get back to Rome to go to midnight mass at St. Peter's. JP2 was headlining. We had a priest who had arranged tickets for us, which included communion from the Pope himself. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He had to pull some strings with a contact he had over at the Vatican. Big show, JP2 and the bishops. Yeah, so we couldn't just blow it off. So we took the cheapest train, which was about a 20-hour ride. It was the longer the ride, the cheaper the ticket was. So we had to spend the next 20-plus hours with next to no money. My buddy had a boombox, and our little trick was to play loud music in the train compartment to dissuade passengers who were boarding the train from coming into our compartment so that we could stretch out and sleep across a couple of the seats. But the batteries were low, and we couldn't afford new ones. So to conserve that energy, we would only crank the music when we pulled into a station and people boarded the train. A strategy that worked very well for a while. But pulling into Strasbourg in an area that's not sure if it's France or Germany, it was very late and we were asleep, and we woke up a little late at this stop, and we were fumbling to crank the Grateful Dead bootleg tape. I highly recommend this music to guarantee no one will stay in your train compartment. I happen to be a fan, but most aren't. And just as my buddy hit play, the door slid open and several people poured into our tiny room. People and luggage, much luggage, too late. The jig is up. So we got up and helped them with their luggage, lifting it up and putting it in the overhead racks. I remember these really heavy bags and stuff. Two of the people left, and just two men in suits stayed. The others were just helping them with the bags. So there we are, the four of us. Two college kids, one older man, very refined, and a huge man. These two older guys, Italian men, they're going to Naples. They're speaking Italian. And I asked them what they're doing. They point to these little gray buttons on their suit coats that they're wearing, and they say that they were at a funeral in Strasbourg. I'm sorry. So I asked what they do in Naples, and one says, in English, textiles. And like one of those European clocks, it all starts clicking. They're mob. One's the boss, and one's the bodyguard. The bodyguard never closed his eyes. We spoke for a while in Italian. At midnight, it was going to be my birthday, and then they asked if we had eaten. And I said, no, not for about 10 hours. And the boss asked if I could help him with one of the bags overhead. And I helped him down. It was very heavy. It was a round duffel bag that opened on the top, and I set it down, and it had wheels on it. And out came food. It was insane. A plate with warm eggs. Sandwiches, hot coffee, a pizza. It was a cornucopia of foods and smells. It was an impossible collection of things to eat, like Harpo's trench coat. It didn't stop. He asked if we wanted any food, and I politely declined. And then my buddy asked me to translate what had just happened, and I told him, and he said, don't do that again. And so they asked again, are you sure? And I said, boy, that would be great. We'd love something to eat. And so they handed us two sandwiches, both on baguettes, these foot long. One was, I still remember, one was breaded veal sandwich, and one was a chicken breast sandwich. And they were absolutely fantastic. And we just were sitting in benches across from each other, inches from each other's face, just chowing these sandwiches. And we each got through half and switched. These guys got a kick out of it, you know. And the boss said that the one thing they didn't have was water. And so with my last few coins, we were still in Germany. I went and I searched the train and got bottles of water. And he was just thrilled that I would spend the last marks I had to get water for them. And so we are now protected. So we'd sleep, and they'd keep the car empty. People would try to get in, and they say, nope, it's full. And they'd say, but there's seats. Nope, it's full. Our American friends are sleeping, the old man would say. Sometimes the old man is asleep too, but the bodyguard never closed his eyes. We had to change trains in Milan. We were still going to continue together. And my bags were on the ground as we waited. And the old man says to me, hey, we're in Italy now. Watch your bags. So we're on the next train. We're in Italy now. And then he kept people out while we slept. And one time a young man was complaining at the door, and he wouldn't go away. He kept complaining that countrymen were standing in the hallway while foreigners were sleeping in those seats. So the boss gently woke us up and asked us to make room. So the guy came in and sat down, and the old man proceeded to humiliate him for about the next 5 minutes. Are you comfortable? Are you happy you're here? The words were not unkind, but the way they were said and the understanding of who was saying them made it pretty difficult. And when the guy finally figured it out, he perhaps rightly started to fear for his life. There was a crowd gathering in the hall to witness this deballing of a guy whose only crime was that he wanted to sit down. So he scurried off red-faced, never to return. Then we stretched back out. went back to sleep as the boss held court, telling stories and jokes to the gathering in the hallway. We finally parted company at the Rome station, waving, hugging, and kissing both cheeks. And we make it back to where we're staying, this dumpy little room. And we don't have hardly any money. So we decide to get some food, but we don't have enough money for a full meal when we know we have 2 days to last. So we just get a bowl of soup because we can't afford pasta for both of us, and then we're going to have enough money for another bowl of soup maybe on another day. And as we're leaving that restaurant, we're walking along, and my buddy, he stopped. We were walking, all of a sudden he stops, and I realize he's buying flowers with the last the last cents that we have. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he says, you can't have Christmas without flowers. All right. So this old priest had arranged for tickets to get us communion from the Pope at Mass, and they never made it. Someone stole them. The courier had absconded with the tickets. They were lost somewhere between Vatican and the place where we were staying. And so he put up this note that said, to the person who stole those tickets, return them. If you attend Mass or receive communion under these circumstances, you will be condemned to eternal hell. And I'm like, Father, is that true? And he goes, it's worth a shot.
This is Connie Nelson.
When you're on the train to Rome, be sure to make friends with the people who seem unsavory. A boombox and money in change will never amount to food on the table to eat. You gotta sell your soul to live. It's all about compromise and giving it. Hey, don't you wanna win? If you want money and fame, you gotta be good at the game. Cozy up to a swindler or a thief or assassin. If you want the big spotlight, you may not ever sleep at night. Oh yeah, baby, you wanna win. You wanna win. You spend all your life acting so righteous and nice. Put flowers and hovels, but everything comes at a price. It's only just a matter of time before the hash runs out and the flowers go dry again. Can't grow something instead. If you want money and fame, you gotta be good at the game. Cozy up to a swindler or thief or assassin. If you want the big spotlight, you may not ever sleep at night. Oh yeah, baby, you wanna win. You wanna win. If you want money and fame, you gotta be good at the game. Cozy up to a swindler or thief or assassin.